you like a Würfel Reviews logo? If you do, then you might want to buy a t-shirt with the channel's logo. Just head to geekygoodies.com/würfelreviews and grab a t-shirt for yourself or your friends. By buying Würfel Reviews t-shirts, you are supporting the channel, and I'm thankful for that. And don't forget that you can also support the channel through Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/würfelreviews and choose the reward level that suits you best. Your support means a lot. With enough support, this channel will continue providing you with the content and you will be able to contribute to that as well. Thank you to everyone who watches and supports the channel.
Hello there folks, today we're taking a look at the game called Samurai Gardener. It's published by Osprey Games and the designer is Hisashi Hayashi. So in this game you are building a garden and you're trying to build the most gorgeous, the most beautiful, the biggest garden of all and get to a certain amount of points, of course. So let's take a look at how the game works. Samurai Gardener is played over the course of several rounds until one player reaches 25 points and triggers the end game, and then whoever has the most points will be the winner of the game. You of course will resolve the round till the end and maybe somebody will have more than 25 points. So these are your scoring cards for 4 different types. What you're trying to do, you are trying to build the garden and score points based on that. So these are the garden cards. So 6 squared garden cards over here, and how the game works. So depending on the number of players, let's say we're gonna play a 3-player game, each player has those scoring cards in front of him, you will put that many cards in the center of the table. So 3 players, 3 cards, something like that. Then, this is a special word, but whatever, just on a 1, 2, 3, you will all slap your hands on the table like that, trying to catch the card you want. And whoever first reaches the card or covers it the most will get that card. There is also an optional variant where there is like a first player that he or she chooses the card, and then the second player and the third player, and the first player will go in a clockwise order. So then the next player who was the second place will become the first player and so on, and then you can choose the cards. It's like a peaceful variant, which I like and prefer. But you can play with that crazy variant where you slap your hand on the table trying to catch the card. But anyway, when you have catch the card, so you will have already one card in front of you, how you build. So you can put cards orthogonally adjacent, or you can cover. And if you go 1 square, 2 squares, and so on. What you're trying to do, you're trying to create at least a 3-square row or column, and you can only do, by the way, you can only face the cards that way or that way. You can never do it sideways and put the cards like that. For example, I can put this card over here, thus create a row or a column of 3 of the same type, and I can score this one. I can score the stone, and scoring 3 in a row is 1 point, scoring 4 in a row is 2 points, 5 in a row is 4 points. So you try to build better ones. Anyway, right now, if I want to score this 1 point, I have to turn this card over. Now I cannot score this type of the ground until I have replenished it, kind of. How do I do that? So eventually I will score all of these different types, and whenever all 4 are turned over, you will flip them over back to the right side and you can score them again. That's how it goes. So what you cannot do, there's a really interesting rule, is that you cannot cover the rows, or at least whatever the square it is, which is already in a 3-square row. So what I mean is that I cannot put the card over here because this is already like a created garden. Even if I didn't score it, it's at least 3 in a row, I cannot cover it. But what can I do? I can extend it later on. For example, then I will play this card over here by extending it to 4, and then I will get 2 more points. So 1 before and 2 more. And you will do that eventually, building up your garden, trying to get better combinations. Sometimes you can score more than 1 column by placing those, and for those you get, of course, if you have those types of cards that are not turned over. So you can score them, first of all, and then also you will get some bonus points. For example, 2 scoreable types of rows. So if you score 2 rows at once, you get 2 extra points. You get 4.6 points if you score all 4 types of rows. So all your cards were turned right way, and then you kind of put 1 card and then created 4 different new scorings. So that sounds really, really cool. Anyway, that's how you play Samurai Gardener. So with Samurai Gardener, it's a reimplementation of the older edition. So the new edition has a lovely box, has lovely art on the cards. I really like those cubes, those translucent kind of cubes. And the game itself, it's light. What I like about this one is that, first of all, you can play it with 2, you can play it with 3, you can play it with different number of players. And depending on, of course, what rule do you play with catching the cards, so or choosing the cards. But still, I think it plays with different number of players, and it plays well, because eventually what are you doing? You're building your own garden, you're trying to score, so and whoever gets to the 25 points first will be kind of will end the game, and they will see whoever has the most points will be the winner of the game. So with this one, I feel like you can play with different number of players. The replayability of this one it's totally fine, because each time you can build kind of a different castle, castle garden. Yes. And one thing is that I really like the aspect of that, if you have 3 or more squares in a row or a column, you cannot cover them anymore. So you have to spread out, you have to find new opportunities or expand the already 3 or more created rows or columns, which is really, really cool. That depends what card do you get. So there's that rule of that. You play, so you put the cards in the center of the table, you shout something, and then whoever slaps the hand first on that card will get that card. So that's kind of a speed element to that kind of aggressive element to that, which I didn't really like, because this game is kind of a peaceful. You're kind of building up your garden. You're not really messing up with anyone else, you know. It's just about you scoring stuff in front of you, kind of a tile laying, tile building up, and so on. Beautiful, lovely, and then there's that aggressive kind of a slapping with the hand, you know. It's kind of weird. I don't really get why this rule is in this game. There should be something else. I don't know. I really like the aspect of was it Honshu? Yeah, the game from Lautapellit, I think it was Honshu, and there's that, you kind of do the trick-taking and bidding round, and then that's the player who chooses the card first and so on. It's really lovely. And it's kind of very similar, though, to Honshu, by the way, so because you choose cards and then you build up, and you want to get the different areas in order to score them, so, but quite a few tiling games are like that, so, but I kind of feel that similarity to Honshu, but Honshu does the better first phase of the game. Now, what I like to play with, I like to play it with that variant rule or second rule, which is you don't slap the card on the table aggressively. You choose the card. So I'm the first player. I'm going to choose the card first, and the next player, and the next player, and then the first player kind of a token, or the first player will go on to the next player, so and so on. So you're kind of building up everything peacefully. And it's a fast game. It takes maybe 20, 25 minutes. Depends on, of course, some people may have a little bit of analysis paralysis where to put the card. But I like the restriction. So in order not to overwhelm yourself with that analysis paralysis, there's that restriction that you can put the card only in a column, how do you say, facing towards you, the longer side facing towards you, and so on. So that's a restriction that is needed in this game, which I do like. Overly, it's a game, it's a kind of a racing game. You race to the points, for the points, and just building up and trying to maximize your kingdom, your garden, you know. Yeah, and I would definitely recommend playing with that peaceful variant. But if you really like this kind of aspect of slapping and aggressively doing that, why not? If you want to do that, who cares? Anyway, this is Samurai Gardener, lovely artwork. It's light, it's engaging, it's great for non-gamers. It's totally fine as a filler for gamers as well. And yeah, overally, it plays with different number of players, has the variability, because each time you kind of build up a different garden, you expand differently and so on, but it has restrictions which are good. So this is Samurai Gardener, and kind of misses my Würfel medals over here, because I'll give it kind of a 6 out of 10. It's a lovely title, I like it, but it's not something I would like to play all the time. Just feel like, for me, Honshu was a little bit better design. But still, this is not a bad game. This is a good game, and you should definitely take a look at Samurai Gardener. And we see you another time. Bye bye. This channel is sponsored by Osprey Games. Check them out at ospreypublishing.com.